I think we can all agree about this one thing. We want success. We want to succeed at this thing we've been trying to do. This thing we've been pouring our lives, our money, our soul into. Well, I'm here to tell you, you're gonna fail. Now, before you head to the comments saying, no, I'm not, why would you say that? You're so mean. Hear me out. You have to fail if you want to succeed. Learning from your past is the only way towards a better future. If you look at me now, I'm a Grammy-nominated engineer. I've worked on quite a few Billboard #1 records, but I didn't magically just get there. To be honest, I felt like a failure for a bit leading up to my current path. But let me give you some backstory first. When I was a kid, I always wanted to do music. I was in 6th grade. Literally, I had this mindset that I wasn't going to go to college because I didn't want a backup plan, because I thought that meant you would fail. You know, that's as far as it starts. And then I just kept going for it. You know, I started a band, I tried doing that thing, and then eventually I found the studio, and that became my new obsession. I was just obsessing over wanting to be this successful music producer. And it was difficult. There wasn't all the resources we had that we have today. You know, now there's all kinds of tutorials, there's all kinds of podcasts, interviews. There's all this information that just wasn't available back then. So it was really a struggle to figure out where I fit into this world. And honestly, I felt even at that time that the dream of what a studio producer was dying. It was probably actually already dead by the time I wanted to do it. You know, now studios are closing down, and they kind of started to close down back then. So I was just struggling, like, what do you do? And I did what anyone does. I started building my own studio. You know, I teamed up with a guy, and we had a studio. And sure enough, I mean, you kind of call it a failure. We had to move. You know, the rent became too high. We couldn't afford it. And so we had to leave. And I kind of call that, failure 1 for me. You know, I tried to do the thing and it just couldn't keep it going. So I move on to my next phase, where I ended up getting a job. I've only had 2 jobs in my life. And that second job was RIP Sam Ash. I worked at Sam Ash, and that actually taught me a lot. It taught me what it was like to sell myself, which is something you have to do in music. In music, in any industry really, you have to know what it is to sell yourself, what it is to, get a little uncomfortable sometimes, reach out to people, say, hey, do you want to buy this thing? Hey, can I mix your song? Like, it's very similar. And within that, I started to meet more connections. And, I'll be honest with you, I could not pay my bills doing Sam Ash. It was like failure 2. I slowly but surely racked up a ton of credit card debt. And I was still buying stuff, was buying music things. I mean, I was still trying to live that dream, but it was getting harder and harder. And eventually I had to leave Studio 2 that I was at, because I decided I wanted to try it again. I wanted to try and do my own studio. So I partnered with another person, and we took a crack at it. We started trying to do our own thing, this was more into the world with like Facebook and Instagram becoming more a thing. TikTok wasn't a thing yet, so it was kind of just, bare bones stuff still. But it was another attempt at trying to live the dream. I've gone through so much already. I've invested so much into myself. I bought courses to mix. I did all these things just hoping I'd hit that moment, I guess, where things would just finally click and skyrocket. And that still kind of didn't happen. I probably spent a year working with one band, and they ended up breaking up, and just kind of doing random projects here and there. Like, it was just still this randomness of like, what am I doing? I even bought into a course of how to be a successful studio. And it's still, it helped, but it was still this thing of like, man, I just felt like I was spiraling. I was trying everything I could, and it just felt like failure. It felt like, what am I doing? What am I doing with my life? What am I doing with this music thing? How do I get this thing that I just don't think exists anymore? And that's kind of the point of this, is that I just never gave up. You can't give up. you have to apply yourself, but you can't give up. Because eventually that day did come that I met a guy that basically led me to the guy I work for today. Today, I work with Elvis Basquet. He's a #1 record producer. He's worked on stuff like Incubus, this band called Lit, Alter Bridge, Falling in Reverse. I mean, it's kind of like all over the place. Rat. We just did the Sebastian Bach album. You know, it's kind of, this guy's done everything. You know, we've done emo, we've done old school rock, new school rock, modern rock, Alter Bridge. And, you know, that was just such a godsend because, you know, here I am, this guy that had spent his entire life learning every skill I could, learning how to tune drums, how to set up guitars, you know, how to mix, how to edit, how to do anything and everything that involved music. And, you know, that day finally came where I opened the door and I walked in, and it was kind of just a rush of like, all right, boom, here you go, start working. Can you do this? Can you do that? Can you do this? And I had actually trained enough to do all those things that once I had that opportunity, I was able to follow through, and I was able to show someone that like, hey, I have been putting in the time. I've been working really hard, and he saw that really quickly. And that's what makes him such a great guy to work for, is that he's someone that respects the hard work, because he was an intern. He did the thing that I was hoping I could have done, which sounds way harder when I hear his side of it. But having an intern in some studio in LA, moving across country, you know, just trying to do whatever he could to break through. And that journey was even harder than you can even imagine. Like, it's harder than my journey, you know, but he was someone that believed in me. And you'll find someone that believes in you, you know, and you have to believe in yourself, but you also have to just keep trying, never give up, you know, make friends, because that's a big part of it. You know, my network of people, eventually someone is going to connect you to the person you need to be connected to for the next phase of your life, you know, and that's something that you're just going to do by following whatever your path is, you know, whatever your dream, your journey. You could be a musician, you could be a drummer, guitarist, singer, producer, mixer, whatever it is. I'm here to tell you that it's possible, but you will fail, and that's okay. I'm here to basically tell you that it's okay. And, you know, if you guys have any questions about, you know, anything revolving music, production, engineering, what it's like doing the things we do, drop a comment down below, because I'm here to answer whatever I can. I'm here to help people achieve the impossible. You know, I'm not really here to like necessarily teach you how to use an EQ. I think there's 1,000 people out on the internet that can show you how to use an EQ. But I don't think there's enough people that are trying to help you with your mind, you know, with the things that I think matter a little bit more than just, you know, what does an attack and release do? So if you enjoy videos like this and you want to hear more, then hit subscribe. And until the next video, hope to see you soon. Peace out.